Ooh, what's going on here? Well, we're going to do experiments with sugar. So here's some sugar, one of our favorite things in the world. You know, as a country, we're addicted to it. If you think about it, it's one of the huge causes of suffering, our addiction to sugar. It's the kind of the origin of the slave trade, and is to get sugar for beverages make life the way it is. And you think about diabetes and everything else, lots of pain. So sugar, very complex, but I love it. So what are you going to do? So one thing you can really, first thing I want you to do, which is kind of fun, is actually exploring something that we take for granted, and that is sugar in water. And the thing that's really amazing about sugar in water, so let me actually start here. So you have your container. And you can start with hot water or cold water. It might be interesting to try with hot. You could, because the amount of sugar, what we're going to do is we're going to dissolve some sugar in here. If it's too hot, I hope this will melt my cup. I like to keep things the same. Whatever variable I have, keep it the same. So I added about 100 cc's. Or if you're kind of doing what I'm doing here, the balance actually measures everything out. So it's actually a really great way to calibrate. Let's see, how accurate is this? My cup melting? Oh, my cup is melting. Let's switch to this. So there we go. Tare it, add 100 mils. There, I did the experiment for you so that you don't have to. Hey, hot water melts these things. So we're gonna use cold. Okay. Alternatively, you can make a hot water, you can make any cup a perfect 100 milliliters. Let's just be silly about this. There it is. Use your droppers. Look at that. You could get a marker and mark it there, and now that's your mark for 100 grams, which is equal to 100 milliliters of pure water. You could also measure it out here, put it into a cup, and then mark it so you can have it. You can do that for all your cups if you want. One experiment to do is to see how much sugar can actually dissolve into there. And you could weigh it. So I'm weighing them both at the same time. So 100 degrees plus this until it fully dissolves. And what you'll see, a couple of really cool things, is that one, you can dissolve hella sugar into water, which means that sugar likes water. So there must be either polar interactions or hydrogen bond. Excuse me. And you'll see that it has both. And you're going to be surprised at how much sugar can fit in here. The second thing to keep track of is the level. You would think that you have this thing and you have this. You add it, it's going to increase the volume. But what happens is the volume increases very little, which means that there's space between the water molecules and sugar can get in there, and actually it brings them closer. Some substances, often ionic compounds, when you add to water, the volume gets smaller because it pulls everything closer. So that's kind of cool. So see how much sugar you can get in there before it stops dissolving. That's kind of fun. And then taste it, because we got to be scientific. Okay, if you don't have sugar, you can use salt, but not nearly as fun. And then see how many dilutions you can make until you can't taste it anymore. So here it is. So here's one. So what I'm going to do is actually, let's set this up. So, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. So I'm going to add 50 milliliters of water to each of my glasses. And once again, this is my favorite way of measure the volume. You don't need, super precision. Oh boy. See here, now I'm going to start getting all crazy about precision. Let's just pretend. You ready? All right. Because it'll take a while. So I'm going to add 100 mils. Let's just do this. 100 mils. And I say mils for milliliters because, that's how cool I am. All right. You'll see it in the movies. 100 cc's, and cc is a cubic centimeter. All right, let's just eyeball the rest. Okay, so let's say I measured everything perfectly, 100 mils. All right, so is this my weight? Is this my sugar? Oh, yeah, I can tell. Okay. And then what you're going to do, this is really kind of fun, is to make a dilution. So here is 100 and 100. Let's cut it in half. Okay, you see it? And then we're going to make all of our solutions. So I think it might be nice to, if you want to mark your cups at 100 mils and 200 mils, but let's just think about doubling it. Let's say double that. So now, if this is half the concentration, this is quarter the concentration, as long as you keep adding the exact, like half and half, 100 and 100, 100 and 100, right? What you'll have is, as far as concentration goes, how many grams of solute per volume. So say this is 10 moles per liter. This will be 5 moles per liter. This will be 2.5. This will be 1.25. Okay, because it's the amount of you're just dividing it in half by adding water, and then you can taste it and see. Pretty great. And see how long, how many dilutions it takes before you can't taste it anymore. So it's actually, you can barely taste it here, but so keep going. And I would say, use up your family's glasses. Try that out if you want. Cool. So have fun with it. You could also alternatively, if you have around the house Kool-Aid, or you can put food coloring in there to make it more interesting. Or you could make this like iced tea and I don't know, have fun. Okay, cool.